I was folding towels in the laundry room when my grandson Lucas burst through the front door, dropping his soccer bag with a heavy thud. Something was wrong. He usually bounded in with energy after practice, chattering about goals and drills, but today his face was pale, and there were dark circles under his eyes I hadn't noticed before. "Grandma," he said quietly, walking over to where I stood by the dryer. "Can I talk to you about something?" My hands stilled on the warm cotton. "Of course, sweetheart. What's on your mind?" He looked down at his cleats, scuffing them against the tile floor. "I don't want to drink Coach Jennifer's shake anymore." I set down the towel I'd been folding. "What shake, honey?" "The protein shake. The one she makes me drink before practice." He looked up at me, and I saw something in his eyes that made my stomach clench. Fear. "It makes me feel weird, Grandma. My heart beats really fast, and I can't sleep at night even though I'm so tired." The room suddenly felt colder. "Lucas, how long has Coach Jennifer been giving you these shakes?" Maybe 2 months? She said it would make me play better, that I'd be the best on the team." He shifted his weight. "And she said not to tell anyone because the other kids' parents would want it too, and there wasn't enough for everyone." My pulse quickened. 2 months. 2 months of a 9-year-old drinking something that was making his heart race and disrupting his sleep. 2 months of secrets. "Where does she give you these shakes?" "Before practice. In her office. She calls me in special." He looked worried now. "Am I in trouble?" "She said it was our secret, hers and Uncle Mark's." "Uncle Mark?" "My daughter, Sarah's boyfriend. The man who'd been living in her house for the past 6 months while she traveled for work as a pharmaceutical sales rep. The man who'd insisted on taking Lucas to soccer practice twice a week. Who'd suddenly become so invested in a 9-year-old's athletic career." "No, baby, you're not in trouble." I crouched down to his level, my knees protesting. "You did exactly the right thing by telling me. Did Uncle Mark know about the shakes?" Lucas nodded. "He's the one who brings them to Coach Jennifer. I saw him give her a whole case of them last week." I felt my hands begin to shake. Not the gentle tremor of age, but something deeper, angrier. "Lucas, I need you to do me a favor. Next time Coach Jennifer offers you that shake, can you tell her your stomach hurts and you can't drink it? Don't make a big deal. Just say you don't feel well." "Okay, Grandma." Relief washed over his face. "So, I don't have to drink it anymore?" "Not one more sip." I pulled him into a hug, feeling how thin he'd gotten. How had I not noticed? "Go take a shower, and I'll make you dinner. Your favorite, spaghetti and meatballs." After he headed upstairs, I sat down heavily on the couch, my mind racing. I needed to see one of these shakes. I needed to know what they were giving my grandson. I waited until I heard the shower running, then went into Lucas's soccer bag. There, tucked into a side pocket, was a plastic bottle half full of a murky brownish liquid. The label had been peeled off, but I could see residue where it had been. No ingredients list, no nutrition facts, nothing. I unscrewed the cap and sniffed. The smell hit me immediately, bitter and chemical, nothing like any protein shake I'd ever encountered. My brother-in-law David was a personal trainer. I'd been around enough supplement shops to know what legitimate protein shakes smelled like. This wasn't it. I pulled out my phone and took several photos of the bottle from different angles, then carefully poured a small amount into a clean mason jar I grabbed from the kitchen. I sealed it tightly and put it in my purse. The rest of the shake went back in Lucas's bag, exactly as I'd found it. Then I called my friend Patricia Morrison. We'd worked together for 30 years at the hospital before we both retired. She'd been a lab technician, and I knew she still had connections. "Pat, I need a favor," I said when she answered. "A big one, and I need you to not ask too many questions right now." "What's wrong, Barbara?" "You sound shaken." "I have a liquid I need tested. As soon as possible. Can you help me?" There was a pause. "What kind of liquid?" "Something that's being given to Lucas. Something that's making him sick." My voice cracked. "Please, Pat. I need to know what it is." "Bring it to me tomorrow morning," she said immediately. "I'll take it to the hospital lab. We'll rush it." That night, after Lucas was asleep, I sat in the dark living room with my laptop. I searched for Mark Williams, really looked into him for the first time. Sarah had been so happy when she met him at a company conference last year. Charming, attentive, great with Lucas. He'd moved in quickly, maybe too quickly, but Sarah was a grown woman making her own choices. Or so I'd thought. What I found made my blood run cold. Mark had been a semi-professional soccer player in his 20s, career cut short by a knee injury. He'd coached youth teams for years, but there were gaps in his employment history, periods of 6 months, a year, where there was nothing. And in online forums, when I dug deeper, whispers. Complaints from parents that had gone nowhere. A team that had been disbanded suddenly. Nothing concrete, nothing proven, but smoke. Lots of smoke. I looked up Jennifer Thompson next. Successful coach, multiple championship teams, but also ambitious, very ambitious. Her social media was full of posts about her training methods and cutting-edge techniques. Photos of her teams, her star players, tagged with college scouts and recruiters. My phone buzzed. A text from Sarah, calling from Seattle where she was at a conference. "Mom," Mark said, "Lucas had a great practice today. Coach Jennifer thinks he might get scouted for the regional select team. Isn't that exciting?" I stared at the message for a long moment before responding. "That's wonderful, honey. How's your conference?" I couldn't tell her yet. Not without proof. Sarah loved Mark, trusted him. She'd think I was being a paranoid old woman, seeing threats where there were none. I needed evidence. The next morning, I met Patricia at a coffee shop near the hospital. She took the jar, wrapped it carefully, and slipped it into her bag. "I'll call you as soon as I know something," she promised. "But Barbara, if this is what I think it might be, you need to be prepared to call the police." "What do you think it is?" She looked at me seriously. Performance-enhancing substances are a big problem in youth sports now. Coaches, parents, they want their kids to be stars. They don't think about the damage they're doing to developing bodies. I felt sick. "How long for the results?" "I'm calling in a favor. By tonight." The call came at 7 p.m., right after I'd put Lucas to bed. He'd complained of another headache, the third one this week. "Barbara." Patricia's voice was tight. "We need to talk. Can I come over?" "Tell me now." "It's a cocktail. Caffeine at dangerous levels. Ephedrine, and something else the lab is still identifying. Possibly a mild steroid. Barbara, this could cause serious heart damage in a child. Whoever's giving this to Lucas could kill him." The room tilted. I gripped the counter to steady myself. "You're sure?" "I'm sure. And I'm required to report this to Child Protective Services. But I wanted you to know first." "Wait. Give me 24 hours, please." My mind was already racing ahead. "I need to document everything. I need proof of who's giving it to him. Otherwise, Mark will just deny it. Jennifer will deny it. And it becomes he said, she said." 24 hours, Patricia agreed. "But Barbara, be careful. These people have been drugging a child. They're not going to take kindly to being exposed." After we hung up, I sat in the darkness, thinking. Mark was supposed to take Lucas to practice tomorrow night. Sarah wouldn't be home until Friday. I had a small window. I called Lucas's practice schedule up on my phone. Tomorrow was a light practice, only an hour. Parents were allowed to watch from the bleachers. I never went, usually. I let Mark handle it, trusted him. That ended now. The next evening, I told Mark I'd come along to practice. "I haven't seen Lucas play in weeks," I said cheerfully. "Sarah's always sending me photos, but I'd love to watch in person." Mark's smile didn't quite reach his eyes. "Sure, Barbara, that'd be great." I noticed how he pulled out his phone as soon as we got in the car, typing rapidly, sending a text to someone. "Jennifer, I'd bet money on it." At the field, I positioned myself in the bleachers where I had a clear view of the coach's office. I'd brought my phone and made sure it was fully charged. I'd also downloaded a recording app, something I'd never thought I'd need. Lucas ran out onto the field with the other boys, and my heart clenched at how small he looked, how tired. Several other parents nodded hello to me. I recognized them from team events, potlucks, end-of-season parties. 15 minutes into practice, I saw Jennifer Thompson motion to Lucas. She pointed toward her office, that small, portable building at the edge of the field. Lucas's shoulders slumped, but he jogged over. I stood up immediately. "I'm going to the bathroom," I told the mother sitting next to me. A woman named Diane, whose son played defense. Instead, I walked quickly toward the coach's office. The door was closed, but there was a window. I stayed to the side, out of view, and pulled out my phone. I could hear voices inside, muffled but distinct. "I don't want to drink it today, Coach Jennifer. That was Lucas, my brave boy. My grandma said my stomach hurt. Oh, sweetie, just a few sips. You want to play well tonight, don't you? Your Uncle Mark is watching. But it makes me feel bad. That means it's working. Champions push through discomfort, Lucas. That's what makes them great. I started recording, holding my phone up to capture audio. My hands were steady now, purpose replacing panic. Mark told me the scouts might be at the game Friday. Jennifer continued, "Don't you want to impress them? Don't you want to make your mom proud?" There was a long silence. Then I heard liquid pouring, the clink of a bottle being set down. "Good boy. Now drink up, and let's get you back out there." I moved away from the window quickly, walking back toward the bleachers. I sat down, my heart pounding, and watched Lucas emerge from the office 2 minutes later. Even from a distance, I could see the guilt on his face, the slump in his posture. He looked up at the bleachers, saw me, and his expression crumbled. He knew I knew. I gave him a small nod, a smile. "It's okay," I tried to convey. "You're safe now." The practice continued. I watched Mark watching Lucas, saw him filming on his phone, saw him texting, probably sending clips to Sarah, building the narrative of the supportive stepfather nurturing a young athlete's talent. When practice ended, Jennifer called the boys in for a huddle. I saw her hand mark a small cooler as parents started collecting their children. He took it casually, too casually, and put it in his trunk. "Great practice, buddy," Mark said, ruffling Lucas's hair. "Coach Jennifer says you're really improving." Lucas said nothing, just looked at me. On the drive home, Mark was chatty, talking about the upcoming game, about college soccer programs, about Lucas's future. I made appropriate sounds, while inside I was planning. Once home, I waited until Mark left for his weekly poker night, something he never missed. Then I sat Lucas down. "You drank the shake today, didn't you?" His eyes filled with tears. "I'm sorry, Grandma. She said it would make Mom proud, and I miss Mom so much, and I want her to think I'm good at something." I pulled him close. "Oh, sweetheart, your mom is already proud of you, so proud. And you are good at soccer because you work hard and you love the game, not because of any shake. Am I in trouble?" "No, baby, but the people who've been giving you that shake are in very big trouble." I pulled back to look at him. "I need you to be brave a little bit longer. Can you do that for me?" He nodded, wiping his eyes. "Tomorrow, you're going to stay home sick from practice. Your mom comes home Friday, right?" "Yes. We're going to wait for her, and then we're going to tell her everything together. But tonight, I need to make sure we have all the evidence we need." After Lucas went to bed, I sat down and documented everything. I compiled the photos of the bottle, the lab results Patricia had sent me, the recording from today's practice. I took screenshots of the texts from Mark's social media where he boasted about Lucas's improvement. I found old photos of Lucas from 3 months ago and compared them to recent ones. The weight loss was visible, undeniable. Then I did something I'm not proud of but don't regret. I went through Mark's room while he was out. Sarah had given me a key to her house months ago, for emergencies. This qualified. In his closet, in a locked duffel bag that I opened with a screwdriver and determination, I found everything. Cases of unmarked bottles, identical to the one Lucas had. Printed schedules showing which kids were getting what doses. Text messages between Mark and Jennifer, printed out, discussing Lucas's progress and arguing about whether they were giving him too much. "He's only 9, Jennifer had written. "Maybe we should reduce the dosage." "He can handle it," Mark had replied. "I want those scouts to see him Friday. This could make both our careers." I photographed everything with shaking hands, not trembling with age or fear now, but with pure rage. They'd been using my grandson like a science experiment, like a means to an end. I carefully put everything back exactly as I'd found it, locked the bag, and left. Thursday, I kept Lucas home from school, claiming he had a stomach bug. I took him to our family doctor, explained everything, and had him examined thoroughly. The doctor was alarmed by his elevated heart rate and blood pressure, concerning for a child his age. She documented everything and filed a mandatory report. Friday afternoon, Sarah's flight landed at 3 p.m. I picked her up from the airport, and before she could ask where Lucas was, I said, "We need to talk. It's about Mark and Lucas." We sat in the airport parking garage for an hour while I told her everything. I showed her the evidence, played her the recording, showed her the lab results. I watched my daughter's face go through every emotion: disbelief, denial, horror, and finally, rage that matched my own. "Where is Lucas now?" she asked, her voice dangerous. "At Patricia's house, safe." "And where is Mark?" "At your house. He doesn't know I know. He thinks Lucas is still sick. That you're coming home to a normal Friday evening." Sarah's hands clenched into fists. "Call the police! Now! I want him arrested before he can run." We drove straight to the police station. The detective who took our statement was a woman named Rodriguez, mother of 3, who listened with increasing fury to our story. "We've been investigating youth sports doping for months," she said. "We've had reports, but never solid evidence. Parents who suspect something but can't prove it. This," she tapped the folder of evidence I'd compiled, "this is exactly what we needed." They arrested Mark at Sarah's house 2 hours later. They arrested Jennifer Thompson at the soccer field as she prepared for practice. The search of her office turned up enough performance-enhancing substances to stock a pharmacy, along with detailed records of dozens of children she'd been dosing over the past 3 years. The story made local news, then national news. Twisted youth sports culture, they called it. The pressure to produce elite athletes at younger and younger ages. Other parents came forward, other children were tested. The damages cascaded outward like ripples in dark water. Mark tried to claim he was just following Jennifer's recommendations, that he trusted her as a professional. Jennifer claimed Mark pressured her, threatened to expose a previous relationship if she didn't help make Lucas a star. They turned on each other like rats on a sinking ship. Neither story held up in court. The text messages told the truth. They'd been partners, co-conspirators, willing to sacrifice children's health for their own ambitions. Lucas spent 2 weeks in the hospital, monitored while the substances cleared his system. The doctors said we'd caught it in time. No permanent heart damage, though he'd need monitoring for years. The psychological damage would take longer to heal. Sarah quit her traveling job, took a position locally. She needed to be home, she said, needed to be the parent Lucas deserved. We didn't talk about the guilt, about how she'd trusted the wrong person, about how she'd missed the signs. That's for her therapist to work through. Mark pleaded guilty to child endangerment and distribution of controlled substances. He got 8 years. Jennifer Thompson got 12, her sentence enhanced by the number of children involved and her position of authority. The soccer league underwent complete restructuring. New policies, new oversight, mandatory reporting requirements. Lucas's case became the catalyst for statewide reform. As for Lucas, he stopped playing soccer. Maybe one day he'll go back to it, rediscover his love for the game without the pressure and the poison. Or maybe he'll find something new. Either way, it'll be his choice, made with a clear mind and a healthy body. It's been 6 months now. Lucas is back to being a regular 9-year-old, playing video games and complaining about homework. His color is back. The dark circle's gone. He sleeps through the night. Sometimes he still has nightmares about the coach's office, about being told to drink something he knew was wrong. Sarah holds him when he does, and I remind him that he was brave, that he told the truth, that he helped protect other children. Last week, I got a letter from another grandmother, a woman whose grandson had been on Lucas's team. She thanked me for speaking up, for not looking the way, for trusting my instincts when something felt wrong. "You saved my grandson too," she wrote. "He was just starting the shakes. Another few months, and who knows what would have happened." I keep that letter in my desk drawer, next to the photos of Lucas from his last birthday party, smiling and healthy and whole. People ask me sometimes how I knew, what made me suspicious when so many other parents had missed the signs. The truth is, I almost missed them too. I almost trusted the adults in charge, almost believed that a coach and a parental figure wouldn't harm a child in their care. But Lucas told me the truth, and I listened. That's all it took. A child brave enough to speak, and an adult willing to hear. I think about all the children who don't have that, who speak up and are dismissed, who show signs and are ignored. It keeps me up at night sometimes, wondering how many Lucases are out there, being given substances by people they trust, being pushed beyond their limits for someone else's glory. The youth sports industry is a billion-dollar machine, and children are its fuel. Mark and Jennifer weren't aberrations. They were symptoms of a larger sickness, a culture that values winning over well-being, that measures success in scholarships and championships rather than health and happiness. I don't have solutions for that. I'm just a grandmother who protected her grandson. But I'll tell you this: if your child ever comes to you with a concern, no matter how small it seems, listen, really listen. Because the alternative, the cost of dismissing them or assuming they're overreacting, is too high. Lucas is safe now. We made sure of that. But we were lucky. We caught it in time. Not every family does. And that's what keeps me up at night. What made me decide to share this story publicly. Because somewhere out there, right now, there's another Lucas being handed another bottle, being told it's for his own good, being poisoned slowly by people who claim to care about his future. If this story helps even one person recognize the signs, helps one child find their voice, helps one grandparent trust their gut, then maybe some good came from our nightmare. Trust your instincts, believe your children, and never, ever assume that authority figures have earned trust simply by virtue of their position. Lucas taught me that, a 9-year-old boy who knew something was wrong with his body and found the courage to say so. He's my hero. Not because of how well he played soccer, or how many goals he scored, or whether scouts were interested in him, but because when it mattered most, he chose truth over approval, safety over success. That's the kind of champion I want him to be. If you like this story and it resonated with you, please share it. Someone out there might need to hear it. And if you're going through something similar, please know you're not alone, you're not crazy, and your instincts are probably right. Stay safe out there and watch out for each other's children. It takes a village, they say. Sometimes it takes a village to protect them too.